In the meantime, though, we have Bobby Hemmitt here, but as you know, we always raise and love offering a spaceship all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, Brother Bobby Hemmitt. There he is. That's him.
How's it going? Pleasure to meet you, brother.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
All the way from my neck of the woods. Bobby Hemmitt. Let's give him another round of applause.
How you doing? All right, we're gonna deal with some things here tonight. Some other things that's happening on other realms that the European is dealing with. And now when this stuff starts sounding a little strange, you just remember this, that the stuff that I'm going to talk about tonight, the average white girl and white boy in the 9th grade know this stuff. They know it. They call them cyberpunks. And they know more about things in the spiritual realm that you have abandoned. They know more about things in the spiritual realm that most black people with a PhD don't know about. So now, remember, truth is stranger than fiction. And I know doggone well, and I have gone all over the country, and I've even spoken in Jackson, Tennessee, and I had women in their 90s bearing witness and dealing with some things and coming up with their own with spiritual experiences that happened. So I know doggone well I ain't going to come up here in Brooklyn and the brothers and sisters from the slave theater going to say, oh, that brother there acting a little spooky there. We can't get with that. Now, if you went up the Nile Valley with Brother Dr. Ben and John Henry Clark and Leonard Jeffries and Ivan Van Sertima and Maulana Karenga and different people, you know, the whole ASCAC crew, the whole, and I'm not a stranger from this particular thing because I was a part of all that for a great deal of time. So I'm not just Johnny come lately when it comes to this. I was in Dr. Ben's mystery system down in what we would say is now defunct almost mystery system down in Atlanta for some of the brothers that's here. So in actuality, I'm not a newcomer. So we're going to get straight into these things. Now what we want to do, we want to open things up spiritually. And because we don't have any water, we don't have to have any water because the Spirit knows what time it is. So I'm going to call out a couple of gods. I'm going to call out a couple of ancestors. And we're going to do the original libations, and all you got to do is say Ashe, because in actuality you really don't need water. You understand what I'm saying? You don't need water. All you need to know is let the gods know that in actuality that you have them in mind and you are spiritual people. Okay, check. All right, so at this particular time I'm going to start calling out some gods and you say Ashe. Okay, ready? And I'm going to call out some gods that you've never heard before. But remember, he who knows one book knows none. You understand what I'm saying? There's no religion higher than truth. And there's only one God, and what you have is the different components of that particular God. In Islam, they call it the 99 attributes. In Kemet, they call it the netters. And Christians say God is just plain old everywhere. But we're still talking about the same attributes, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. Now, what I'm going to do tonight, I think I'm going to have to start from, how many people have never seen me before? Raise your hand. Okay, now, since we have a new crowd, I'm going to start tonight because now I'm going to produce tonight for the brothers and sisters that have seen me, you bear with me, because I'm going to produce tonight historical evidence that this European is a biological mutant and a non-human. Now, we have, but I'm not talking about theory. I'm talking about historical, archaeological, and anthropological evidence, both coming from the temple of Seti I in Kemet and the tomb of Ramesses I and Ramesses IV, Biblium El Manuk, as well as some information that I stole from Emory University, based on the Hieratic Papyrus of the British Museum that's talking about the beast. So we're going to get into this particular nature, and then we're going to get into some other things also, too. So first thing I want to do is we want to pour libations. So as I call out the gods, you say Ashe, all right? Al-Sut, Oser, Aset, Heru, Sekhmet, Bas, Bes, Nakumpa, Umbelenga, Shango, Obatala, Oshun, Ogun, Odudawa, Olodorun, Iminja, Oya, Unkulukulu, Brahma, Vishnu, Bravini, Damawalawedo, Maraka. Okay, we're going to get into some other things. Kakshidi, Tishtira, El Shaddai, Jehovah, Newt, Apit, Tyert, Anana, Awas, Thunderdog, Thunderbird, Underwater Panthers, White Buffalo Woman. You say, dang, where these guys coming from? All right, okay, let's, Quetzalcoatl, Layla, Allah, Aniel, Raziel, Kaziel, Michael, Haniel, Samuel, Metatron, Medura-Atan, Melchizedek. Okay, let's give a few more so we can get the show on the road. Ptah, Ra, Nomo, let's see here, Kintiamenti, Apt-Ert, Hept-Ert, Amsumin, Kim, Sutnesi, Sutnubit, okay, Ishtar, Astarte. Okay, I want you to, when I say 1, 2, 3, I want you to name every god that you know of and your own personal savior. Well, first of all, we do Jeshua ben Pandera, known as the Christ, Jesus Christ. Ashe, Raheruka Hudi, Harpakrat, Harmachis, Hermerti, Hetmahet, Pepi, Ani, Uimhetep, known as Imhotep. Okay, Pan, Heru Apollo. Okay, now, when I call 1, 2, 3, call out the gods. 1, 2, 3. Okay, okay, now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call out my few ancestors, Irene Shaw, my grandmother, Mabel D. Ford, my aunt, Ollie Hemmitt Sr., Ollie Hemmitt Jr., let's see, well, that'll be my family members now. When I say 1, 2, 3, I want you to start hollering at the top of your voice, saying your ancestors. 1, 2, 3. Keep on going. Keep on going. All right, now, first of all, okay, now, what I'm going to deal with today is there's some stuff that the Europeans across the water in England is dealing with some stuff on melanin, but it's not dealing with the same things that you're dealing with on melanin. I spoke at the melanin conference, what, about 3 weeks ago? And so it's a whole different vibe, and they're dealing with stuff with you, and they won't even let this stuff get across the country. They won't even get it across, they won't even let it in the country. They don't want this stuff to get across the water. But it's different things. So tonight we're going to deal with some of those things. Tonight we're going to deal with a whole bunch of things. So you just bear with me, let me get my notes, so we can go on in my book. Because they said, well, bring your books, because, you know, you got to document things. So I said, well, if you want documentation, we give you documentation all night. So you all just bear with me. I know, number one, we're going to be dealing with stuff called unidentified flying objects that you call UFOs. They're actually IFOs. Remember, Ezekiel saw a wheel way up in the middle of the sky. And now, we're going to deal with all those particular things. We're going to give you some books, and we're going to give you some documentation that you can start studying. And we're going to tell you some things that's going down right here in Brooklyn, where they get ready to lock you down in a few months. You see, so and I'm going to, because so we're going to deal with this particular stuff. If I got my. Now, I'm doing this early, but I didn't put up the stage. So, okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, but I move around a lot, so. Okay, now. You know, it's beautiful to have black people coming together where you would have a brother, like you say, way down south, and some brothers and sisters in the north, and we got people from all over. You understand? Because we don't want to play that separatist movement amongst each other. You understand? You know, Elijah Muhammad said one time, when the black man wakes up in the south, it's all over. So now, I'm coming from, I'm from a place called Mullins, South Carolina. I just produced a book called The Human Artificials, Comedic Documents and Origins of the Living Devil. Oh, yeah, I guess that would be nice. You could put the, yeah, that's cool. And so that book will be out. I had the book. This book is about 6 months old. I did it in February, and the book is sold out. But I just came up to New York. We're getting our own printers, because what we're going to do is black people need to start printing their own stuff. You know what I'm saying? And doing their own stuff. I came up here also to get some things, because I got this book, the AWAS Occult Melanin, that's coming out. It's about a 400-page book on stuff that has not gotten into the country. And also, this particular book, Human Artificials, has a certain amount of documents in this book. The Human Artificials is dealing with documents that I stole from Emory University and stole from crackers. Now, this book is dealing with the white man being a mutant. And the thing about this book is I didn't write a doggone word in this book. Every last page is done by white people. You see, we do that because we understand. I don't want you to call me no racist. You see. But I'm going to show you what white people say about themselves, because remember, even all your scholars, your illustrious scholars, they didn't even tap into half of the stuff that the white boys got locked up. They have volumes of stuff that they stole out of Hemmitt in Egypt. That stuff you never get a chance to see. The University of Chicago has in their basement more stuff on them and more stuff on you than you'll ever get a chance to see. And if you even tried to see it in actuality, is this thing the right way? Yeah, well, if you tried to see it in actuality, if you tried to see this particular stuff, they would probably kill you even just thinking about it. But anyway, God is making sure that we actually uncover the actual mess. Now, what also we want to deal with is, we're going to go into a little bit of history first. Now, the history that we're dealing with is, you know doggone well that the black man and black woman, they have no birth records. Now, everybody know that we're the oldest people on the planet, but most of the scholars don't even deal with Atlantis and Lemuria. And now the white boys are saying, because you don't deal with that, now we're going to put ourselves in there and say that we were the Atlanteans to make sure, to try to make this false history that they were here before you. Okay, now, little man with a 4th grade education told you about Yakub, right? And all your scholars was laughing at that particular thing. But what they didn't realize is, when they go right there to the Nile Valley, there's a whole shrine built to Yakub, and I got the historical records of a person by the name of Yakub Kerr that created a European. So we want to deal with this particular stuff, because the stuff that you're dealing with tonight is not going to be a lot of stuff that you heard. But then again, if you hear some stuff and you know every doggone thing, ain't no need of coming out and hearing some additional information. Check. And you also know this too. You have been victims of public speakers that know how to say nothing well. You see, when I was in college, we had a lot of clergymen came, and they knew how to say nothing well. Or there's a science of giving you what you want to hear and not what you need to hear. You see what I'm saying? Now, I feel comfortable at Slade, because any place that brings Khalid Muhammad, that would bring Steve Coakley, Dale Jones, and the rest of the crew, we know that we don't have no doggone problem. You understand what I'm saying? And thanks to this brother right back here and the whole crew. So I feel comfortable that we can do this. Now, for the people that stick around, there's going to be a spaceship that's supposed to be appearing around 10 o'clock, and it should be here after you get out of the place. But they said the problem was that most of you don't believe in higher levels of spirituality. See, most black people, you talk about God, but you really don't believe in God. You see what I'm saying? You really don't believe in God. You believe in the white man who you think is God. So now so there's supposed to be some things that's supposed to occur tonight, and if some of the people are still left standing, we'll show you those particular things, and we'll put it right in your face. It's just some things that you see it every night, but what you've been looking at, you've been thinking it was something else. But we're going to show you how to detect that thing tonight also too. But they've granted that they would occur and they would actually go brighter than what they usually go. They say they usually don't do this, but they'll do this tonight for you because they think of you special because you black people and you are the gods of the universe. Now, let's get the boat to rolling. All right. The best chapter that you must look in your Holy Bible is John 10, verse 34 to 36. John chapter 10, verse 34 to 36. Where you got a group of the disciples are saying, look, man, we don't know if we can handle this stuff, Jesus, or Yeshua, his real name, after you gone. And Jesus turned to them and said, is it not written in your law that ye are gods? He's talking about the law that I gave you. You understand what I'm saying? Now, that's not saying that you are the universal prime creator, but it means that you are in the image of him and you are God in the physical form. You understand what I'm saying? You are God in the physical form. What you need to do is you need to understand that your Bible came from the Kabbalistic people who put your Bible together, and when you get the Holy Kabbalah, there's a good one by the name, it's called Ladder of Lights by William G. Gray. You all take out some pens because we're going to do a lot of references tonight because this stuff is so way out there, I know I got to bring this stuff home. William G. Gray. It's a book called Ladder of Lights. And it's about the Kabbalah. This is one. There's several Kabbalahs. There's another one, Dion Fortune's Mythical Kabbalah. And the Kabbalah is broken down on the autonomy of the body of God. And the autonomy of the body of God is talking about the black man and the black woman. Now, I'll show you a Kabbalah and a breakdown in a few minutes. The next time I come, I'll bring a overhead projector in the whole 9 yards. One of my brothers went to school with me at Benedict. How you doing? All right, now. So now what we're going to deal with is we're going to go back to Atlantis. Now, we understand that the actual, and I'm going to tell you why they have been missing this particular thing. Number one, there's an energy that is on the planet that's getting ready to raise you up. The last time this energy was on the planet was 90,000 years ago. Now, the reason why this whole Atlantis thing escaped most of your Afrocentric scholars is because the Europeans separated it from Africa and Egypt and made it seem like there's some mythical place, but I'm going to break this thing down to you on what happened. Number one, if you go to the Temple of Dendera, which is the Temple of Dendera or the Temple of Hathor, or Het-Heru at Dendera in Kemet, it has a zodiac in there, and in that zodiac it represents all of the gods and all of the stars and everything, and it represents the Most High God, but the original name of that Most High God is called Al-Sut. You see, Al-Sut, or Sut. But the problem that they ran on you based on the political move that was based on what happened when the Hebrews got in, is they cut one part of the story off and they didn't give you that other part of the story. The Most High God that you worship in all over the world, that male image that you worship all over the world, what they did not tell you, that male has a mother. Now, I want you to listen to what I'm saying here, because even the Afrocentric movement told you, based on Egyptology, based on the later actual scriptures, which is your Osirian drama, which is later. We're talking about an early one. You have the gods and the goddesses. You can't have a god without a goddess. You understand? That's the duality. But what I'm talking about here is one that goes back even later. That's on the temple walls at Dendera. Whereas the most primordial figure of all time is the black woman. And so the God that you worship, El Shaddai, Allah, Adani, all around the world, what they don't tell you is that God has a mother. But what they don't tell you is that particular mother has no consort, which means she is there alone. You understand what I'm saying? Now, in the Temple of Dendera, this particular calendar in the Temple of Dendera is 90,000 years old. This is what the white boys are saying. Now, if this thing is 90,000 years old, that means in actuality that predates the Kemet that you actually see. Now, also, you have your Sphinx that sit in the middle of the earth. Now, that Sphinx that they have, NASA has already proven, based on the Sphinx on Mars, because there's a Sphinx on Mars, for you people that think that's where we get Richard Hoagland, the NASA man, monuments on Mars, a city on the edge forever, where they give you all the stuff on the Sphinx on Mars. They have concluded that both the Sphinx on Mars and the Sphinx that's here in Hemmitt on the earth is 2 million years old. Now that means that it's got the face of a black woman. So that means that you have had to have been on the planet more than 3,000, 10,000, in the thousands. You are older than that. And they have your records locked up in the British Museum and at the University of Chicago, and they got a whole building built in Russia. There's a building built in Russia about 10 stories. And in this building, it has nothing but books on Kemet in Egypt and Africa. Can you imagine a whole building with nothing but books? So now, for us to come up in here and think, well, I know every doggone thing, remember, there's nothing new under the sun, only that which has been forgotten. Now, in there, you have dates back to Atlantis and Al-Camoria. The original word is Al-Camoria. Al, which means God, Kim, which means black, and Moria, which means Lord of the earth, where you get Moor from. Because the Moors that you see, their lineage comes from Lemuria or Mu, other than what you have in Islamic Spain. Okay, now we're going to go back and I'm going to explain some things on who you really are. Because no, you are not just Johnny Long from doggone Neckbone, Alabama. You understand what I'm saying? You are older than that, and I'm going to go into some things that's getting ready to happen. We're going to go into some things that's getting ready to happen with Haiti, and I'm going to tell you the real reason on what's behind the reason why they're in Haiti and different things that's getting ready to go on, because we are getting ready to kick that behind. Now, we're going to kick that behind. Now, for the warriors that's doing the thing on the voting and all that stuff, keep doing what you're doing for the simple fact that spiritually you got to get out there and you got to hit the doggone pavement, because when we talk to the gods, they say, well, we love the enthusiasm of certain brothers and sisters. So therefore, you can't knock anything if you just sitting in the house not doing a damn thing at all. Okay, now what we're going to deal with here is this. Manetho. When the high priest Philadelphus the third, I think, asked Manetho, he said, give us the history of Egypt. He said, well, you got 3,000. He said, you had 500 pharaohs in the pre-dynastic period, another 800 pharaohs in the pre-dynastic period, and that averages up about 10,000 years, basically, maybe 9 or 10. Then they asked Manetho, well, who used to rule before then? And then he said, that is when a whole bunch of gods used to rule. Now, was he talking about a spook god? Or was he talking about the average black person that was on the earth before their spiritual center shut down? We're going to get into that tonight. Okay? He was talking about nothing but the black people that's on the earth that's here now, that you will be going back into your godhood. Check. You'll be going back into your godhood in the next couple of months. Now, I know that's long. But I'm going to break it down to you on your time. Your time, it is, first of all, well, let me go into this particular thing first. So he said it was a bunch of gods used to rule. The name of those gods, or the name of those original black people was called the Els, or the elder race. Now, we're talking about based on the white man's scholarship now. Because Honorable Elijah Muhammad told you that they have no birth record. Based on the white man's scholarship, he's saying that nearly 1 billion years you have been here. Now, you know the crackers right now don't argue. They say that you were older than that. When they can find the black woman a couple of million years old, damn, you know doggone well, we've been here as long as the earth has been here. You understand what I'm saying? So we're going to trace this particular stuff back. We're dealing with things now in the spiritual realm. Now, what do I mean? Most of the people have gone down the Nile Valley with Dr. Ben in the whole 9 yards, and they say, here you then, the boys. And you dealt with the history. Now, since 1984, with the ASCAC conference and different things that's going down, you have been dealing with the history. But in the history, you learned that there was a mystery system, right? Now what we're going to do is we're going to deal with the mystery. Okay? Now, when you start dealing with the mystery, Then all of a sudden you're saying, oh, that nigga crazy. But you know doggone well, all you all came from some roots down south or the Caribbean where your people would cut them chicken necks and do all kinds of things with herbs and roots and stuff in the spiritual realm. So nobody in here should not be new to that at this particular time. You understand what I'm saying? And don't let nobody fool you about you people. If you in your 90s, if you in your 80s and your 70s, remember now, to your ancient black people, that used to be a child. You understand what I'm saying? Because you didn't become an adult until you was 40. You see what I'm saying? So now that's a child. And they used to live as long as they wanted to live. And how they used to kill themselves, they said, well, you know, I've been on the earth for a good 500-600 years. I think it's time to leave now. And what they used to do, they said, well, it's time to leave. They start eating 3 times a day. And that automatically kill them. You see. And that's how they used to, that's how these particular people used to die. Now, this particular L, it is said, now remember now all the stuff I'm telling you, you're going to be able to get this in my books. Or I'm going to give you a pile of stuff that you can go to the bookstores and get yourself. Okay? We're going to document. It says that the elder race, it says that after the earth, they call this elder race, they say after the earth had cooled, when they say this earth was formed, and was ready to be inhabited, a race arrived from space that was not, now check the cracker out, now watch the cracker, that was not human, but was the original true race or the original true men. Now what the hell is he talking about? It's not human, but he's saying it's a man. He said they were the Cyclopean race, known as the secret word, the El race, or the Elohim. He called them the Cyclopean because the white boy got to play on words. You see, there's a whole 140 years of scholarship that's been going in the metaphysical, or what you would call the occult. But the occult is only which that is which is hidden. You see, what it is this here. They take your science that they get out of Africa. They take your science that they get out of Kemet. They take it and they put it in words like the occult. They put it in words like witchcraft, and they put it in words like Satanism. Now, they do this for a reason, because they know the average Christian ain't going to touch nothing that got some Satanism on it. They know that they ain't going to touch the stuff that's got the witchcraft on it. You see, but in actuality, what they have done is they have gone in and they have understood your spiritual essence. And they have taken that particular stuff and they put those code words, the occult. You say, ooh, that's some spooky stuff. So the crackers have gotten away for the last 140 years of studying your ancient science by putting it under the occult. Go in some books like Barnes & Noble, some certain bookstores, and when they say they have an occult section, you'll see your book of coming forth by day, the Book of the Dead up in there, which is the original Bible on the written word. You understand what I'm saying? But they put it in the occult. You understand? That's to keep you out of it. You understand? Because they understand, based on religious fundamentalism, you are scared of a devil that don't exist. That devil don't exist. We're going to get into that tonight also, too. So you all bear with me. They said it also, too. When people are speaking knowledge, you should never be in a rush. You understand what I'm saying? Now, you know damn well if Michael Jackson was up here, and he started dancing and singing with his cut-off nose and his white wife, and he started dancing and singing, you know doggone well, when he get through, you would ask for an encore. I don't care if he stayed 5 hours. You would ask for an encore and almost kill him if he said no. You understand what I'm saying? So now we're talking about vital information. And like I said, we're not into knocking anybody that come up with a certain thing, but what we're trying to say is there's not just one way. There's several different components on what we do as far as trying to liberate ourselves. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Now, let's deal with this. It says, but it's the original Cyclopean race. Now, hold right there. What does he mean? He meant your third eye, your pineal gland, and your particular third eye, where you could see into the spiritual world, was open at that particular time. See, they're talking code words. It says it was a race of the elves. Before the coming to this planet, they travel all over the known universe and great time cycles, and they were titans of the starways, and still in other dimensions in time and space. He said that you had been all over the universe before you came here, black people. And we're going to bear witness to that tonight, because I'm going to show you some stuff that's going down, and who a couple of brothers and sisters are already in touch with. And yes, If you think you on this doggone planet, you'd be kind of crazy to think that you're not on other planets also, too. Check. We going like that. Well, this is the meeting to give you the actual message from the brothers from the other side. From the other side, okay? Now, it says they were immortal legends and they were the God race or the elder race who preceded man. That man is the white man. Who man? Now, Deborah Blair told you that human meant, human meant that human was not black people, but human was white people. That's not true. What had happened was Deborah Blair had earlier research, and he got a book by the name of the space people. No, they call the sky people. And in that particular book, they talked about who man and man. He said who man was animal man and man was the original man. But in actuality, what had happened was the white man had understood the esoteric meaning of who, and he tried to systematically, in a conspiracy way, tried to hide it and made like that he was the original, or made like that he was the actual evolved person. Where it's the other way around. Who comes from your ancient Kemites and your ancient Britain? Now, when I say ancient Britain, I ain't talking about white people. You got the whole Stonehenge that's over there that was built by the Druids, which were black people. You see? And they said that we were the Who men, and our symbol is the god Who that sits in the middle of the earth called the Sphinx. Who meant God men. You understand what I'm saying? So that particular Who man means God man, or it means the black man. You understand what I'm saying? Or the black woman. You see? So this Who man, what they're talking about, is the God man or the God race. Now it says, some elves were true cyclops. They had only one great central eye in the middle of their head. See, the white man is trying to change things around. He want to give you some kind of freaked out particular person because he don't want to bear witness that it was the original black people. But he talked about these gods. He said they didn't have no other eyes. They only had an eye in the middle of the head. What they're doing in a code word, they're talking about the spiritual pineal gland or the spiritual third eye that was awakened. Okay? Now, it says that others had two eyes like human beings. Well, see, what he's only talking about is the pineal gland. And it says, still the others had the development of the psychic third eye. See, he's double talking. He's saying the other ones that had the two eyes had the development of the psychic third eye also. What he's talking about is the third eye the whole time, or what we call the first eye. Not the third eye, that's the white term. It's our first eye. Even though it's closed shut down, it's still the first eye. You understand what I'm saying? Because only the original people can tap into this particular science, or this particular first eye, based on the melanin, or the chemware is the new word, okay? Check. All right. Before coming to Earth, they colonized many known galaxies. He said, but also it says that the later man can never become the elder race. He's talking about that white person because you can't get the dominant from the recessive. Check? All right. Now, let me explain what went on. What had gone on was this. You had seeded this planet from the star system Sirius. Now, the star system Sirius is your great central sun. I'm going ahead of myself, but you had come to this particular planet. Now, what had happened was, what had happened was, at the particular time that you came, you had all of your spiritual centers open. This is what Manetho was talking about. You had your 7 chakras open. Even though there's other chakras, the major chakras is the 7 chakras. This is in metaphysics, you know, which we say, not metaphysics, that's a white term. We say in African spirituality, or we say the world spirituality, because we remember now, Africa, this whole planet was ours. We'll get into in a few minutes, because they said that this is the only planet that's got this many races, based on some catastrophes that went on in Atlantis. But they said that this particular whole planet was ours, and yeah, you can take, wherever you go, you can see the black man and black woman have already been there. Because we're talking about a time, we're talking about prehistory, or pre-prehistory. We're talking about pre-Hemmitt. You see? But we're still talking about the same place. I'll get into that in a few minutes. Now, what had happened was, you had come and you had all your spiritual centers open. That means that you could function as a god, which the Bible told right that is back on the planet now. Your spiritual centers are opening up again. This is why you got a resurgence of black consciousness. It's because of the spiritual components that's already in you. You understand what I'm saying? Now, that means that any way it don't make a doggone difference. The beast is getting ready to get off the planet. And I'm getting ready to go into this particular stuff. Now, what I'm trying to say is this. Now, I know a lot of people come and a lot of people, and you say, Lord, I hope that brother is right. You know what I'm saying? Now, God knows. But I'm going to tell you how the beast is getting ready to get off the planet. Because, yes, there's a connection with the cosmos, and the cosmos has already said. They're going to try to get you, so we're going to get them before they get you, because we can't go through slavery twice. All right? Okay, now, it says that at this particular time when you were in Atlantis, see, all the stuff that you see the people doing this born with the veil, you call it, or certain people can do certain things spiritual. That was just like you looking with these two eyes. You automatically was born with those things. And some people are born with those things now, and they just don't get shut down by the time they get a certain age, so they still psychically in tune. But we're talking about more advanced things than even that. Now, at this particular time, you had what was called cosmic memory. That means that you use memory instead of logic. You had what is called detailed files. Anybody ever saw Terminator? And in Terminator they say, he said, I have detailed files. But we're talking about the ultimate computer called the Akashic records. Or when it comes to the heaven, he say, up there. When I get to heaven, I'm going to put on my shoes and walk all over God's heaven, milk and honey every day. You see what I'm saying? And everybody up there white and stuff. And you wearing some cloud shoes and stuff. You see what I'm saying? That's mythology. That is fairy tale. So in actuality, the average one don't even graduate past Sunday school. Check? Now. So now what's going down is there's a whole books that's gone. The book of it, they talk about all this stuff. So I'm not sacrilegious. I'm not trying to tell you that you don't supposed to keep worshiping what you are or what you do. I'm just telling you to add the certain books in so you can enhance what religion you in. So the whole science, the additional information is not for you to tear down what you already in. Be crazy to tell you all black people to get out of Christianity. That's a doggone fairy tale to think, and I'm going to come up here and tell you that. What I'm trying to tell you is you need to add what's taken out or the additional information. Check? Now you had detailed files and you had communication. Now the key to this whole thing, now NASA, based on Richard Hoagland and based on the whole science thing that's going down, they said that the Sphinx is at least 2 million years old. They first carbon dated it with 9,000, then they carbon dated it with they said 80,000. Now they're saying they have concluded recently that the Sphinx is 2 million years old, and that's the face of a man and a woman, basically a black woman. Check? Your original line of Judah, which is the goddess Sekhmet, you see. Now, if that is true, that means in actuality you had a high civilization. But if the Sphinx is sitting right there, that means it had to exist along with the place that they call Atlantis. So that meant that in actuality we got reports that Hemmitt Egypt was the capital of Atlantis. That's why you got all the doggone records and stuff there. What had happened was you had one particular piece that went down in the Atlantic Ocean, and they're calling that Atlantis. Or the part that went down in the South Pacific that they call Lemuria. But it was one landmass at one time, and one people lived on the planet. And the civilization that you got now can't even measure up to that particular civilization. We're talking about high civilization. We're not even talking about Hemmitt. We're talking about high civilization. What had happened, you had got trapped in this third dimension, and your vibratory rate started going down. And you fell more into the physical. So after you fell into the physical and your third eye started closing up, what had happened was the spiritual world became invisible, and the visible world became clear. You see what I'm saying? So what we're trying to do is you got to tap into that particular part that opens up the other room or the upper room. You see what I'm saying? We're talking about going to the Godhead. Check? All right. Now, what had happened was at one time you had cosmic memory. You had it all up here. So you was born with it. You just tapped into the actual files in your mind, and you didn't have to have the particular schools that you have now because you was gods. You knew everything because you was one with the God. You see what I'm saying? Check. Now, the key to this is after those spiritual centers shut down, you had to go into logic and you had to start studying the 7 liberal arts. You had to mathematically try to explain what you knew in the spiritual world, you had to explain in the physical world based on mathematics and stuff, which was equations to try to explain what you lost spiritually. This is when Hemmitt, as you know, reverted into the physical structure that you see Egypt now. This is when you had to start going into the mystery schools to somehow go for 40 years to raise yourself back up to the spiritual level that you used to be born with. But we got trapped in this 3rd dimension. You see what I'm saying? Now, y'all bear with me because I'm going to show you what's going down right now. You see what I'm saying? Right now. Now, the whole key to this whole thing is it's not for you to sit up here and believe nothing I say. That's not the key. I'm not trying to come in here and give you some type of dogmatic stuff and say this is the way it is. First study to know thyself approved, that the Bible said. And you should take nothing that a person says without trying to have some type of inquiry or some type of study. But what I'm trying to do is only trying to give you detailed information so when this thing goes down, you can say, oh, I do have a certain amount of information on that based on the brother Delbert Blair that I saw. You see what I'm saying? And this brother here. And whoever might come to you and talk this particular stuff. Remember now, it's always the strange ones around you. Pay close attention to the ones that's around you that's strange. Because in actuality, what you're going to find out is if you are normal in a world like this, you're the one that's crazy. See what I'm saying? You see? The ones that you calling crazy, strange and crazy, they have tapped into levels of spirituality that you don't understand. You saying that nigga crazy. You see what I'm saying? But in actuality, if you are a pillar of this society, you got to be out of your damn mind. Check. Always go across the grain. You got a brother right back here as a living example of going across the grain. You know that whole deal that went down in 88? You know what I'm saying? 87. That's talking about going across the grain. We talking about we don't want to be palatable to the market system and to the whole system. We want to go across the grain. If you're going with the grain, you totally dead. Check? All right. Now, okay. That's when you went into the actual mystery system to try to get back. Now, let's go into some science about Sirius. And all you got to do is just follow along with me. Anybody saw the things when they go out of space? When you go out of space, it's black dot. Now, anybody tell you, even Mae Jameson, who came to Spelman College, right after she went up in 92, she came to Spelman College, and somebody asked her, do UFOs exist? And she said, hell yeah, they existed. You see, she got mad about it. Why? Because what had happened was, at NASA, it's common knowledge that they exist. The only people that don't know about it is the people outside of NASA. Mainly black people, because all white people bear witness to it. All of them, basically. So they asked her, and so if the common word around NASA is UFOs exist, hell, that's the reason why NASA got started in the first place, based on the first UFO crash in 1947 with the doggone Roswell incident. They got plenty of books on it. You see. Now, what happened was, so if you at the place and you actually hearing somebody telling you that you working towards UFOs or trying to get to that level, and somebody comes up to you and say, does it exist? You say, this is ludicrous. But remember now, she didn't remember where she was. At a brief time, she thought she was still at NASA. So when she thought about where, she said, damn, I'm not at NASA, I'm at Spelman College. Then she said, I tell you, just thinking everything's got to exist. We can't be the only planet with life on it. So she kind of cleaned it up. But at one time, she let it out. She said, oh, hell yeah. And then she thought about where she was. Check, you understand what I'm saying? Now, when you go out of space, what you see is total blackness. You might see a few stars. Seemed to me, I asked my mother this. I said, well, dang, when I was a little boy, I said, seemed to me, when you go out of space, the closer you get to the sun, the lighter it's supposed to get. But if you ever thought about it, when you go out of space, it's jet black. The real deal is this. You don't even see that sun. That sun is an invisible sun. And when you go into your electromagnetic force fields up under you, which is your atmosphere, the sun hits the electromagnetic force field, and what you're seeing is the reflection of that. The sun is hitting that electromagnetic force field. The light of that sun comes from another sun, the sun behind the sun, which is the star sun Sirius. Our Earth goes around the sun every 365 days. Our sun goes around another sun every 26,000 years. This is where you get called a great year, or the 26,000 year cycle. You understand what I'm saying? Now, that's called a great year. That particular sun is the central sun of the entire universe. That's the central sun, which is the star sun Sirius, which they said that our Earth falls into insignificance to our sun. But our sun falls into insignificance to a larger sun, which our sun is the conductor of that light. So when you see that sun there, you're seeing the light of Sirius, the sun behind the sun. Okay? Now, that's the great cosmic central sun, is that particular sun Sirius. Now, I want to read something to you. You all check this out, what the white boys are saying. Yeah, I can come up here and yeah, you're right. If I come up here and give you some stuff and don't document it, you say that nigga crazy. Well, I'm going to tell you what the white boys say. Now, this is coming out of the UFO literature. Now, this one is just in 93, because they got to put this stuff out because they know it's in this war. The book is called Extraterrestrials, Friends and Foe. Friends and Foe. Extraterrestrials, Friends and Foe by George C. Andrews. Now, in there it says that the insectoid powers, they talk about the government. They call them the insectoid powers. They talk about the government, the white man, the Illuminati, the whole 9 yards. The people that's ruling you. It says that the insectoid powers fears the black race. This white people now. The insectoid powers, the white man fears the black race. Okay? See, we don't want to damn cover this thing up to say there's a group of black people, there's a whole bunch of us. No, it ain't, but you know who your enemy is. The white man fears the black races and have kept them subjugated and confused, for they hold the key to knowledge. Their genetic clan, check, melanin data, the black dot in you, their genetic clan information is needed to unlock the advanced secrets of Sirius data. Talking about the star Sirius. The segmented data unites is also carried by the Indian clans, both Native Americans, what they call it, and also the black Indian, the real Indian. Some who were originally from the fourth planet of the Sirius star system. We want to document this, okay? Show you something else. Y'all all right? Yeah. Okay. Let's deal with this stuff here. Okay, let's take it. All right. Sirius, the dog star, is the brightest star appearing in the heavens and is located in the constellation of Canis Major. Now, white people now, human life there migrated to Earth. He said 30,000 years ago. That's a lie. White boy. And it is believed that Sirius is the home of the black-skinned race. White boys now. You understand what I'm saying? The Sirius star system, from Sirius comes a black-skinned race of humans who were highly developed. This is the white boy talking now. We want to document it for you people that ain't got into space yet. We're going to put you right in space. This is real. Now, you know, you got to have a bad misconception of yourself, and you got to be just plain old dumb and say, I don't believe in that. When the white boy put a doggone satellite up there, he tell you he ain't got no money for you to give you reparations. But he gonna take $9 billion and put in a Hubble telescope. You know doggone well it ain't just to watch no doggone stars, because he had doggone NASA for the last 30 years, and I thought that's what he's supposed to be doing in NASA. You understand? You got to start thinking. You see what I'm saying? You got to thinking on higher levels. Check? I'm saying doing what you're doing while you're doing your thing, you better keep a damn eye in the sky. You see, and not on some prize the white man 30 pieces of silver. We talking about a high in the sky. We talking about keep your eye in the sky. Check? Now, you think I'm lying for all you religious zealots. All you got to do is go and look in your Holy Quran. Now, for some people that don't know this, I'm quite sure some of you at this particular time, we should be advanced enough to realize that there's no thing as different religions. All the religions are one religion. It come from one people, right? If I'm down the doggone street and I develop another culture, I'm going to worship different than this culture over here. That ain't got a damn thing to do with God being different. That's man being different. You understand what I'm saying? We talk about the same God. All of them came from the same people. Check? Now, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take your Torah, your Book of the Dead, your Book of Coming Forth by Day, your Torah, your Quran, and your New and Old Testament, and you're supposed to put them together and read them as one book. Not separate damn books. One book. You understand? Your Bhagavad Gita, your Upanishad, your Tibetan Book of the Dead. You said, damn, all them? Oh, I didn't know we even had all that much. He who knows one book knows none. Study to know thyself approved. You should research everything. Keep your ears and your eyes open. Even watch the roach crawling on the floor. Okay, now, in your Holy Quran, you Muslims, and some of you Christians that got the Holy Quran, look in the Surah of the Star. In the Surah of the Star, you get the star and the crescent. It says, this is the God who created the laughing and the weeping. This is the God who bestows and enriches. This is the God who created both male and female from one single ejaculated semen. He is the Lord of Sirius. In your Book of Coming Forth by Day, which is your Book of the Dead, the oldest written book in the world, 10,000 years on paper, another 600,000 years on the written word, and it ain't the original one. It says, I set up a latitude of gods, but I am one of them. It means, just like I'm down here, I'm up there. And I holler like a goose until they hear my prayer, and they report it to Sirius. The dog star. Okay? Now, if you look, you see the moon and you see the crescent. That star that you see is Sirius. On the moon, on the star and the crescent, but I'm going to get into some other stuff on what that star is also, too, in a few minutes. Now, I want to read something. This is coming from a book I just got called The Sea Gods from Atlantis. See, the white people are writing all of this stuff. And you sit around here and say you don't believe it at all. Let me tell you something. These crackers got bookstores by the millions that they study in your history that you don't want to believe in. You understand what I'm saying? Now, check. Now, I want to read you something. They're talking about the great cosmic central sun. Everybody all right? Okay, now. The great cosmic central sun that they're talking about. Sea Gods from Atlantis, a bibliography of the race of men by Valerie Barnwick and Jonathan Briggs. Valerie Barnwick and Jonathan Briggs. Okay, now, let's look at this, what they talk about, this great cosmic central sun. It is the central sun of all suns. Okay. It says, it would be obvious from considering above that there must be a certain meeting place for the so-called outer space, where the energies and the forces known and unknown to us, and at this present time they're talking about, it says, at the present time, and it points out that the gathering place as intense and near to our planet is nothing but the Sirius. So they're talking about that particular star Sirius as this great cosmic central sun. I want to get that particular stuff out. Now we got a doggone meeting place. Now when I go into some other deeper stuff with the UFOs, we're going to tie all that in. You understand what I'm saying? Around there is 7 stars. And on those 7 stars, now you got to listen. If the central sun is the central sun to the universe, now if you know astronomy, you got different suns, and around those suns you got planets. But if this sun has planets around there, it means that the gods that live on that planet got to be the gods of the universe. Guess who live on those planets? Black people. Black people. You see what I'm saying? Now, look just like you and I, and some of them are in here tonight. But the key to the whole thing is when they come up or when they come, you never recognize them because they look just like you. You say, that's a nigga from down Alabama. That's because you feel low about yourself so you don't even understand it. It's a cosmic thing. But the white boy knows. Okay, now, what we want to deal with right now, before we do this, is we want to deal with this stuff on the beast. See, the reason why you haven't been able to figure this beast out is because you denied the teachings of a man with a 4th grade education. Why? Because the white man told you to look only to the people that he educated and not to some people that up out of the despised and the rejected. You understand what I'm saying? Step past the brother on the street and he might have the key to your salvation. Check? All right. We are bigger than that now. Now, what we want to deal with is this. In my book, The Human Artificial, the stuff that I want to go into the stuff from what I stole from Emory. Yeah. Well, because it sounds pretty good, you know. I stole it just like they stole it, you know what I'm saying? So actually, I just uncovered our stuff back. I just took our stuff back, you know what I mean? You see. Okay, now, I want to deal with some stuff. Number one, there was a group of stuff, scholarship materials that they took from Germany and Russia and all over the United States and all over the world where they took all our stuff out of Hemmitt in Egypt in the late 1800s, let's put it this way, the late 17th century, the late 18th century, which was the 1700s, and the early 19th century, which was the 1800s. When Napoleon went in and took all of our stuff back and took it to the British Museum, the Louvre in Paris, and all over the doggone place. Now, white boys came together in the 1960s. One particular man by the name of T.H. Valder, who was a German, came together and they put some scholarship material together that was only submitted to the major universities. It was not supposed to be submitted to the public. So that means this was a book that was never printed for the public. It was only for research. And it says this book is meant for pure research. It's a book that is breaking down the prophecies that came out of Egypt. Now, what they did was they was gracious enough to send the Negro preachers the book. For some reason, they sent the Negro preachers a book in 1973. By them not knowing what the hell they had. They sat on the book from 1973 to 1992. Almost 20 years. For 19 years, they didn't know what the hell they had. Now the white boy knows that you're getting back into your ancient antiquity history. You understand? The AU Center, you got the ITC and the Theological Seminary, or Cemetery. This there. They took all the books from their place, AU Center, put all their books in the Woodruff Library. They took every school, Clark, Morehouse, Morris Brown, ITC, Spelman. They took all the books and put them in one place. Now, the white boys, knowing that they gave it to them, knowing that you had started uncovering your history and you have already gone back to Hemmitt, they said, oh, you better go get that book. So the crackers from Emory went in and stole the book. So I went to Emory and stole it from the crackers. Now, the book is talking about the archaeological evidence of who the white man is. Now, it says, let me get the right page for you, because I want to get you this particular thing. Boom, boom. Let's see if this, let's see. I want to get the right thing for you. Because it's talking about, here it is. It says that this is showing the Egyptian idea of the Kemite idea of the barbarian. They said, now, this is what they're saying. They said that they live in a miserable part of the world. Their water supply is wretched. That forces them to lead a nomadic lifestyle. Although the ways of communication are poor because of the mountains and forests. Now, they're telling you of the Caucasus Mountains. Okay? Hence, they have a restless nature. And they are always grumbling because at that particular time they could not talk. Remember Count Boney in his book, Ruins of Empire, told you that the Africans had to teach them how to talk? He said they're always grumbling. They cannot be defeated since the days of Horus. What they mean is we found out that this European has been fighting the black man for even more than 3,000 years. He's been fighting the black man about a good at least 10,000 years. Now, I know the whole thing about Honorable Elijah Muhammad was saying that the white man was created 6,000 years ago. But what had happened was that the reason why Master Farah Muhammad had to give him that, because they understood that at that particular time, the black man couldn't even conceive of any other time longer than that. And the 6,000 years is correlating to the Bible, and since you was in Bible history, you had to understand it from this time frame. You understand what I'm saying? Now, however, they are treacherous, and they do not openly announce